everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I haven't done a 10-minute watercolor painting in a little while, so that is what today's video is going to be. Technically, it's actually a 15-minute watercolor painting, but it still fits in with my 10-minute watercolor series, which is all about doing really quick, sketchy style watercolor paintings in a short amount of time to help boost your confidence, help you finish a painting in a short amount of time, and then that just helps you get more practice in more days, just more possibility for practice, basically. So I painted a sea turtle today. I'm narrating in real time, step by step, talking about what I do as I do it. One thing I don't mention during the video, so I'll mention it here, is that I do have a list of general recommended supplies that I use listed in the description. I am an Amazon associate, so I do earn a commission on qualifying purchases. Please be aware of that. The links in the description are paid links, but these are supplies I would recommend regardless. So you're all aware of that. And let's see, anything else that I need to mention? I don't think anything regarding the painting. So before we go into the tutorial, I am going to mention my website to you, CoreyFrankCreates.com. It is the best way to get in touch with me and connect. I have my weekly email newsletter you can sign up for. And when you do, you get access to my free no-brainer watercolor supplies buying guide. It's just a one-page sort of PDF with links to different products I recommend based on a variety of budget points. Can be really helpful, especially if you're first starting out and not sure where to start with supplies. So I have that for you as a freebie for signing up for the newsletter. I also have my online art shop and my online watercolor courses, which when you are ready to take that next step, go really in depth with watercolor and have a very sequential kind of lesson, just working through at your own pace. Those are available there. Would love for you to check all that out. Again, it's on CoreyFrankCreates.com. Alrighty, without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this 10-minute painting. 15 minutes, if I'm being truly accurate. Okay, I'm going to start with my size 4 round brush, and I'm going into my ultramarine blue because I want to block in sort of the primary point where I'm going to base the rest of the painting on. So we'll kind of just go here. I think this is going to be the eye. There's kind of a blue dot in the center, so I'm starting with this blue. Doesn't have a lot of water in the brush, so it should dry fairly quickly. And then I'm going to go into my Payne's Gray. Excess moisture off. I want it to be fairly opaque paint, very dark. As dark as you can get a watercolor generally means more opaque. Okay, so there's that blue dot in the center, which I'm painting around, and then here I'm blocking in the rest of the eye. This is kind of going to be the more sort of detailed labor kind of work. And then the rest I definitely want to be much looser since it's a shorter painting. You can see I didn't start with a sketch, which if I'm doing a longer piece, I generally will do that. Let's go into some sepia brown here. We're just going to kind of paint. Oh, that was too thick. Very lightly here, kind of some of the circling around. Might need a smaller detail brush, but I'm gonna stick with what I have. I'm committed now. I'm gonna start incorporating some fun colors here. So let's see, I really like this brown matter. It's like a brick kind of red. So we're just gonna start adding some dots, not being too precise with it, just gonna have some fun. And here we go. Let's start getting into some colors on the head. My timer, I may not get this done in the allotted time, the 10-minute time. So I'll get as much as I can done in the shorter amount of time and then kind of go from there. Let's get some cadmium orange. We'll just get a little bit of that in here. Back to the brown matter. We'll get a couple of kind of dots on the other side. all this is just kind of the head. Fill in a little bit of a light color just to sort of flesh out the top of the head. I've got my nostrils right here, so I'm going back into the Payne's Gray to get real nice and dark. A couple of little nostrils. There's not a lot of water in that brush. Now I'm gonna really just push some fun colors. So I'm going into my alizarin crimson. Gonna get that nice and dark in there. And then kind of feather it, not feather it, but make a gradient with applying looser washes, diluting it with some water. There we go. On to the other side. A little more here. All right, now I want to have, let's see, let's get some cadmium yellow, kind of go underneath there. And I need a strip for the mouth, so I'm gonna use some brown. This is burnt umber. Kind of a really good, just sort of general, kind of middle of the road brown. I'm going a little dark perhaps, maybe darker than the reference photo, which is linked in the description. It's from unsplash.com. And they have a lot of copyright-free images on there. Get a little bit of Payne's Gray. Go this way. And then we've got a little bit of Viridian Green that I'm going to add here. Also underneath here for the chin. Starting to take a little bit of shape. Have some of that. Kind of seeing a little bit of his head. I'm about halfway done. I've got 5 minutes left, and you can see I haven't made a ton of progress. So if I want to try and get it done in 10 minutes, I'm going to have to really get a move on. I'm going to go into my burnt sienna. And I'll just start blocking in some of these kind of shapes on the head. Again, not being super precise with it. Actually, I went a little too far. So I'll get my towel, blot that up. Some really dark. Again, I want to use that alizarin crimson. That looked really cool. Some spots here. Really starting to get. There we go. Now I will get some of that brown matter again. It has a little more of a brick red, kind of some rusty orange tones to it, which I really like. Again, not paying the closest attention, not making everything exactly, the exact pattern. I don't want to get so caught up in that I sort of lose track of sort of the rest. So I'll go in here, start getting into the neck. There's quite a bit of green on that neck, so I'm going to go back into my Viridian Green. Kind of add some of that in here. Use a little wet and wet for that to blend. Now I'm going to switch to a slightly larger brush. Again, I'm going to use my burnt sienna. And now I just want to block in the body and really help kind of fill in a lot of space all at once. So this is my size 8 round brush. Get some of that. Suggest kind of lines in between. There we go. Again, I'm working very quickly. I have only 3 minutes left. So this isn't going to be the most careful painting that I've done, and that's just the nature of these quicker paintings. You try to block in as much as you can in a short amount of time, make it a recognizable subject. I want to add some purple here and there. That's my dioxazine purple. Also add some cadmium orange. Maybe make these blocks here cadmium orange. Just very quickly blocking in kind of the shapes to suggest the shell. Very loose and free with it. I'm just kind of This is going to be a very sketchy sort of watercolor piece with a sort of sketched in type of style. Let's get some more purple right in here. Get it nice and dark. A little bit there. My paint is drying pretty fast, otherwise I would have wanted to have a little more of the sort of wet into wet technique going on here. A little bit like that. Oh, 1 minute 46 seconds left, 43. All right, here we go. I'm gonna get this back fin. Oops. Well, that's okay. We'll just go with it. A little cray-cray. That time crunch, man, sneaks up on me every time I do one of these shorter paintings. That's too funny. So, I want the underbelly. So we got the shell, we've got kind of a back fin here. Underbelly, I'll get some more of my sepia brown. Some sort of texture going on here. Which again, my paint dried way too fast, so it's not actually doing the wet into wet that I want it to do. Let's see, I've got about 50 seconds left. Let's really get, actually, I'm just gonna go with the dioxazine purple here. Start getting some of this. Fill these in. Transition to orange. I'm just about out of time here. Just sort of dotting in some thick, mostly opaque paint here. I know, again, it's not being super careful. Okay, my timer is done basically right there. But I didn't want it to actually go off and have noise in the video. So that right there was 10 minutes, close to done, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this other fin in here and maybe add a couple more details. Let's see. Just a little bit going on right here. Can see a lot of sort of hovering close to the surface of the paper and doing kind of little small dotting strokes rather than doing as much washes. Now there are some washes here to kind of fill in the shape. Again, we got some Viridian green, that cool kind of green color. So these are the washes where you have fairly diluted paint and cover larger areas at once, versus the more kind of dotted texture. It's just too dark. There we go. I'm using some of that wet into wet technique. Now it's working. Getting that. That would have probably worked better on this fin as well, but I was getting impatient, went a little too quickly. So, all right, let me fill in just a couple more details. I know, again, I'm beyond the 10 minutes, but just flesh it out a little better. Add some of the sort of wrinkly lines that go on the neck. And actually, I could probably switch to a smaller brush since those are a little finer detail kind of thing. Help me a little bit with adding that detail. Need darker section right here. Some shadowing. Again, a lot of dabbing motions to get that sort of feel and look of the texture. Add a couple shadows here on these portions of the shell. Add a little bit of kind of a yellow wash. Normally I would have laid that down first, but making quick decisions as I was working, so I'll kind of do that there. Okay, so to kind of top it off, I'm gonna add a few fun little splatters of color here. So that has a lot of water and pigment in it, and then I just kind of tap my brush. If I want to create sort of finer, like freckles of color, same kind of thing, quite a bit of water, quite a bit of paint, but I have a larger brush and now I'm gonna flick it over my finger. You can see it creates a finer splatter, especially the less water you have in your brush. If you have not enough water, you won't even get any splatter, so you just have to find that nice balance. And we'll add one more. I like this Viridian green. Go. That's that. Switch back to my size 4 brush. Add a signature. Trying to be fairly quick. Stay right on the tip though, so it has nice fine lines. Okay. So that's probably more like a 15-minute painting, but in 15 minutes, created a kind of nice little piece there. So yeah, in a relatively short amount of time, we have at least a recognizable animal, and we experimented with a lot of fun different colors, as well as a little bit of wet in a wet technique, washes, as well as wet on dry technique, where you just apply the wet paint to a dry surface. And that's all there is to it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video and found it helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. Until my next one, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. God bless, and I will see you soon.